Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are having a great day, start of a new week. It's the third week of November, and it's been a beautiful month. We are getting ready for Thanksgiving, which will be next week. And then, of course, the holidays will be in full swing. And so, everybody getting ready for Christmas and any other holidays that are celebrated during this time of year. And yeah, that's how it is right now. And this is In the Raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. I was thinking, we live in times, I was talking to somebody the other day and talking about, the political scene and how it's panning out with the elections that just passed. And we're living in times where people are very passionate, to put it that way, or put it one way, about where they stand, about the things that they stand for, they believe in, and nothing wrong with that. Of course, we all have our opinions, we all have our, our strong convictions, but what it is different, and that I've noticed, and I was talking to this person saying, when I first started to vote back in 1984 was my first year voting, 40 years ago, the year I turned 18. I voted for Ronald Reagan, and he was very popular back then. But I was saying, the politics back then were different. People were not as, let's say, not as passionate about, their parties or their beliefs or their stances, or their the things that they were embracing. Yeah, you were either Republican or Democrat, and I'm talking about politics right now. And but that really didn't. It wasn't as passionate before, as hardcore. Let me put it that way. Yeah, people would say, yeah, I voted for Republicans, or I voted for Democrats, and that was about it. It wasn't like, oh, you're a bad person because you voted for the wrong party. You voted for, it wasn't like that before. And even the politicians, they worked with each other. Ronald Reagan is known as one of a president that was able to work with, the opposition party, if you want to put it that way, or you want to call it that. He was one that was he was very successful at working and bringing them all together. And there was a sense of unity, even though there were different, political views, there was unity, and we don't see that anymore. It kind of just spills out into society, into our daily lives, oh, I stand for this. And if you don't, then, you see videos on YouTube all the time of people not going to a restaurant, not being served because they're wearing a red hat, and the people, the owner doesn't want to serve them, or you go to you listen to something else on the news that some baker doesn't want to make a cake because the people that are getting married are same sex. I mean, all of that is just, it's gotten out of hand in my opinion. What happened to accepting each other, to tolerance. Some people preach tolerance, but they can't give it in many instances. And it's just very, very sad to see all that, really. And Paul writes to the Galatians, and he tells them, this. I mean, he tells them a lot of things, obviously, but this catches my attention. He says this: there is neither Jew nor Greek. Well, first of all, the premise, he tells them, we're all children of God. We're all children of God. We, whether we like it or not, we are children of God. He is created us. We're in His image, and I know some people don't believe that. Some people don't believe in that God created us, but the Bible tells me that he created us in his image. And so we're all children of God. And he says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Right? And so he's saying, there's no distinction between people. There shouldn't be. Sometimes we take our flag and we say, this is what I stand for, this is who I am. And if you really ask me, what really is going on here is there's an identity crisis. I mean, that's how I can describe it, an identity crisis. And people are so passionate, so strong convictions that this is what I stand for, this is who I am, this is what you need to call me, and we come up with pronouns, we come up with, names that we want to be called because this is who I am. And it's all really, in my opinion, an identity crisis. We're trying to grasp an identity. We're being very strong. We're feeling very strong about an identity. But he's saying there's no Jew or Greek. Jews and Greeks couldn't get along back then. And he says, forget about that. There is no Jew or Greek. There's no slave nor free. Back then, slavery was common, and if you were a slave, you were looked down, as a slave. There's no slave or free. We're all the same. There's no male nor female. In today's society, people want to be called, people that want to call females or males, or they don't want to be called females or males, or I don't know, different identities. And I respect all that, by the way. I respect all that. But he's saying there's none of that. We're all children of God. We all have one thing in common. We are part of the human race. Whether you believe this way or believe that way, whether you think this, you think that, we have that commonality. We're all part of the human race. We are all humans, and we need to respect each other as such, right? We need to love each other as such, Jesus said you need to love your neighbor, and we need to, he didn't say, only the ones that you agree with. He said you love your neighbor, love the persons that's next to you, to your right, to your left, and anywhere around you. So, yeah, I think that's very important, and hopefully you'll consider this if you are declaring yourself as part of a group and you don't want to be part of another group, right? No, we're all the same. All right. Well, I hope you have an amazing day, amazing week. We will talk to you soon.